Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pies Presser. Collingwood are interested in Carlton's pick number 9 in the 2025 National Draft. It's time to talk all things black and white. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pies Presser is proudly sponsored by TS&L Neon, Melbourne's trusted signage specialist for commercial LED and neon signage. They are Melbourne owned, family operated, service all of Victoria. For more information, the link is in the description, tslsigns.com. I appreciate you all. How are we doing? News today on Wednesday the 12th of November. We might be in the discussion with Carlton to secure pick 9. This is what Cal Toomey suggested in Gettable earlier today. So we're going to do a simulation through Pommy's mock draft board to see how that pans out. And it largely probably has to do with the fact that they have a father-son in Harry Dean who will go in the top 10 of the draft. So rather than letting their picks get eaten up by the bid, they could give away pick 9, which becomes pick 12 at some point. So they may as well. I think there's a implication. I may be wrong. I may be right. There's an implication where if you trade before the draft night, although. So this is where it gets tricky, right? I would have thought if pick 9 right now is worth X amount, once it gets to their pick where Dean is required to, the bid is required to be matched, it's sitting at pick 12. So does the value of that pick change? If so, yes. If yes, then would they look to trade early before it gets to a later pick, or is that something that should have happened beforehand? So I'm intrigued by that, but let's have a look here. Let's get right into it. I really do want to have a suss of this. So if we go to Pommy's great draft simulator. So for those who are wondering, I'll put the link in the chat a little bit later for those who want to give this Pommy in Oz mock draft board simulator a crack. So what we'll do is right now, Carlton's pick 9 is valued at 1355, yeah? So I am going to jot that down just because I might forget. 1355. I'll put that over here. Cool. All right. So we know 1355 is the value that it currently sits at, pick 9. And I'm not too stressed about who goes 1, 2, and 3. I just want to know, with the bids and whatnot. I think I need to refresh this entirely, actually. There we go. Okay, cool. So we draft Dersma. Zeke goes to Gold Coast after a bid is matched. Does the value change? It does start to change. So, for those who are familiar with the draft and how it operates, Joshy, or maybe I'm looking at you. If we look here, the pick is already losing value. So can you actually trade this before the draft night? Or I'm pretty sure that's closed. So until draft night commences, they can't trade the pick. So is it something they can do right before the draft starts? Does anybody know? Anyways, let's get these picks. So we're at pick 3. You go, Cooper Duff doesn't, just whatever here at this point. So we go bang. They'll match a bid, go to Brisbane. Patterson goes to Richmond, to Gold Coast. And then here, it's closed now. So it's closed. So they can't do a pick swap right now. But can they do a pick swap once pick 1 is on the clock? That's what I want to know. Can a team make a pick swap even though it's not their pick? So can they do a pick when Willem Dersma or when West Coast are on the clock? When pick 9 holds more value than when it becomes pick 12, because there's 200 points difference there, right? But on this assumption, let's say you can start trading as soon as West Coast is on the clock. Okay, so let's assume then, let's refresh it, right? This is what can happen then. Let's say at the start of the draft, bang, Collingwood and Carlton, we're going to do a live trade before Carlton's pick 9 loses value. Carlton, Collingwood. So we're going to go bang, that's Carlton's live pick. So they're going to give pick 9. And then I suppose Collingwood could give 2026 future first and a 2027 future second, because you can't trade a future first and future second from the same year. So there's that, yeah. And then, why isn't the value coming up? It was coming up before. That sucks. Surely. Come on. It was doing all the minuses before. Now it's not. That's annoying. Let me go back. Can we do it again? Nah, it's not doing the values. This sharp looks like a gun. Get it. We'll have a look at him backtrack. We'll certainly have a look at him. That's annoying. It was working before. I'm going to refresh it again. Dad, how are we? What's going on? We're looking at how we can trade and get Carlton's pick 9, because that's what we're hearing might happen. So we might get into the top 10 of the draft. It's just not registering. Before it was working. Now it's camera shy. But anyways, let's just do it. Fuck it. All right. So that and that 2027 or 2026. No. Uh-oh. Future first, 2026, future second, 2027. In exchange, mum as well, no good. In exchange for pick 9, for Carlton's pick 9, that will give Carlton quite some draft points there. Obviously, it's dependent on where Collingwood finish in 27 and where Collingwood finish in 2026. Blake says, if we give up next year's first, I'll spew. Get much better next year, we won't be great. I think, Blake, if there's a player that Collingwood are really keen on in this draft, with the unknown that is the next few drafts, I think it might. I'd back Lepper in it right now. I'd back Lepper in. If that's something where someone we're really keen on, then we just have to submit to what Lepper and Shane O'Brien and whatnot think of these players. So if you complete this live trade, will it give us the points value and change everything? So does that give us context here? So we got pick 9, which is 1355, 39, 45. And then what it does for Carlton is they can use... I think there was a pick I needed to give them. I want to try refresh it one more time because it paints the picture perfectly. Give me 1 sec. I'll close the browser and reopen it one moment. So it was doing a really good job of painting the picture. AFL mock. It's amazing like having these draft simulators, because it does really show you in layman's terms, because it's literally a simulator in how everything will pan out. Live trade. Okay, what? I can see it down there though. Live picks, Club A, Club B, Club A gives, bang. Club B gives future picks. It's a little bit glitchy if I'm being honest right now. But the point is, I imagine that Carlton, like I said, once that pick 9 turns it to 12 and the next it becomes the other, it impacts, like, I guess, the matching of the Harry Dean bid, right? And therefore, if they can get rid of that pick 9, they can use their later picks along with pick 12 with not 11, whatever that becomes. Benny, welcome. Crystal, what does that mean if we want to give up picks to Carlton to get Butters or Bailey or King in next year's trade? It does have obviously some consideration there. Like if you're giving away picks to get into the draft, I suppose, yeah. I was talking about Zach Bailey. I don't know if Brisbane would match the bid. I know I have a strong feeling Port Adelaide would match the bid and force a trade. I don't know if Gold Coast would match the bid that comes their way for Ben King. I'm not sure if they'd have the weaponry in the money bags to offer Ben King what he wants to stay at Gold Coast. I don't know. That's an interesting one. I'm trying to get this. It was working before. Like I said, it's gone camera shy, but I'm trying to go, what if we just do this? Hold on. Let's pick a player and maybe that will fix it. Let's go bang. Yep. Confirm draft. Okay, cool. So pick one on the clock. Live trade. If we go Carlton, Collingwood. It's down here. I can see this here happening. Let's see if it does anything. So they go bang. We give this. Okay, here we go. And we give that. So right now, if we give Carlton a future first in 2026 and a future second in 2027, they can make up about 700 points in value. They get 700 points in value in return for trading out pick 9, right? And then I'll show you why that's, like, I guess, beneficial. I mean, what if we asked for something back? Would that hinder, I guess, the points? As far as the futures are concerned, we don't know the exact value. So I imagine I'd like to know what that's considering. Like, what are they giving? 14.86. So maybe that's based on where Pommy thinks Collingwood's going to finish. So if we do another thing, hold on. If we go zero hanger, we go draft. What's 1,400 points worth? As you think we're about middle of the mark. AFL draft order. All right. So if we go, I mean, he's expecting us to finish out of the 8. Which you can't blame him because that's what most people think. Or maybe that's just he's gone by the general consensus of the media. So Club B being Collingwood, this pick is a pick that falls Collingwood would get if we fall out of the top 8. Likewise with this one here. That would have a lot less value as Tasmania is coming in and getting draft picks as well. Yep, so we'll push them back. What that actually means in terms of numbers, I'm not too sure. Maybe, so once again, I want to know if we were to ask for something back, say, they've given away quite a number of picks. They've got 2 first rounders in 2026, so they're giving away a second and a third there. What if we asked for something like that back? I mean, yeah, maybe you can ask for a future third, but keeping in mind that Tassie come in, maybe that's a type of offer that Carlton would be willing to accept. So a future first in 2026, which is projected to be a pick outside of the top 8, as in it would be a high draft pick because he's got Collingwood tipped to finish outside of the finals. And then same goes with 2027, which is an extra like 600 points in the second round, which would be, what's 600 points? I mean, yeah, pretty low on the ladder in 2027 is what that pick would suggest. So it'd have to be something like that, wouldn't it? Are you going the future third would there's a chance that that's not worth anything. So that's probably where we're limited. So if we do that live trade, yeah, we do that live trade, and we get this all going. So Carlton have gotten rid of pick 9 before it loses value, and then we're getting closer to the Harry Dean selection. So we go bid and force match. So now that Carlton have gotten rid of pick 9 and their initial pick 11 has now become pick 14, they will use their bid pick value firstly is 15.43, but after the discount is 13.38 across 3 picks, which they have to use in order of their best picks to their worst. Deficit applied, 50 points. Match allowed status, cool. So the net required is 1388. And after they've completed, Carlton have completed the live trade with Collingwood, they're left with 14, 39, and 51, which ironically ends up being smack bang on what they need to get Harry Dean. So they use their 3 picks there to get Harry Dean, and they don't burn pick 9, which would have become pick 12. So they make some money for the future. So what do we think about that? See what it says for 2 seconds next year. They'll need to stockpile for Walker. I don't know if we have 2 future seconds BP. We'd probably have to do another live trade with another club to get another future second. I don't think I saw. Did I miss that, guys? Did we have 2 future seconds for next year? I'll double check. But you go bang, and that pretty much gets Carlton what they want, and I think they'd have. Yeah, they wouldn't be doing a whole lot more in the draft if they give away pick 9. Next year rules are changing at this stage. You can only use 2 draft picks to match the points required for Cody Walker. So, okay, so there you go. So then in that case, Joshy, the value in getting a future first to help you match a bid is even more important. So, interesting. And then Collingwood all of a sudden have pick 13 by now. So what was pick 9 gets pushed out to pick 13. And then, you're looking at, let's see what's available. Bang. We're just picking random players at this point, but there's no more bid matches there, hopefully, right? So unless Max King goes early and they have to match a bid there, sweet. I'm not too sure where they're rated at, but Collingwood gets a pick 13 and then they get to have a crack. And then pick 34 can go to a McCarthy. Pick 34 can go to a McCarthy. I'd presume maybe nobody bids on McCarthy and Collingwood just take him with pick 34 or pick 39. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be really interesting to see how Collingwood work with their draft hand, especially if they bring in pick 9, which becomes pick 13 from Carlton. What they do with the whole McCarthy situation. Sam Grill is the one I would take if we did the trade. Interest. There is. We're gonna have to wait and see till draft night to really find out if this is all gonna happen. So I'm mindful. I don't want to do too many analysis on the top 10 picks because we don't even know if we're going to get that pick. But what was said here? So if we go here, maybe we can hear this.
Mick Agresta, Carlton's recruiting manager. They've got 9 and 11, of course, but the bids is going to be the big factor for them.
And a much happier looking Mick Agresta than the photos we
used to show.
Of mighty Mick. So great to see him here on the board. Carlton has some big calls to make. So pick 9 is still on the table. There hasn't been the type of interest in that pick as the Blues would have expected, and nor that we've seen in previous years. So pick 9 and pick 11 still isn't on the table. Essendon, we can say, is a club that has...
So pick 9 and pick 11 is on the table, which makes things interesting, doesn't it?
As it dies on pick 9. We haven't talked about that before.
Yeah.
So they are a club that's I watch this space. Adelaide has spoken to Carlton about a trade, but it could be player dependent. And then this is the difficult part because clubs are going to have to go in blind if they're going to have to make that trade if it's player dependent.
It can't be player dependent, can it? Because of where the bid's going to fall.
You can narrow it,
yeah.
But the same for Collingwood. I think they've got interest in that pick too, as well, and shifting up the board. But it would be about a player being on the board at that point. Are they going to know that? Probably not.
Yeah.
Now, a bid at 3 for Harry Dean would trouble the Blues. That's not an ideal result. A bid at 7, I think, is the ideal result for where this one sits. So it's in that range. Big difference, though, in terms of points for 3 and also for 7. If I'm Carlton and a bid comes at 6 or 7, I hold all my picks and I just let the second pick slide back a few spots and you end up with 2 first-round picks. I think that's the best result because there isn't a club out there going to throw a future first-round pick at it. In terms of points for 3 and also for 7. If I'm Carlton and a bid comes at 6 or 7, I hold all my picks and I just let the second pick slide back a few spots and you end up with 2 first-round picks.
So they may even hold rather than if it goes at 7, they might not even give up pick 9 or 11 if it gets to if they don't get bidded on at pick 3. At pick 3, they're going to have to work some magic. But I think he's saying on the basis that if no clubs are willing to give away a future first, then Toomey is suggesting that it might be best just to keep what they have and use that for Harry Dean and use the 2. Let's see here. So bid force and match. What does that mean? So they get, if they just hold, they'll use 12 and 14. They'll have 776 points left over. They'll get pick 20 as compensation. So that gets back thrown into the draft order. So they have they have a first rounder in Harry Dean, and then they'll get another first rounder at pick 20. Right? So that all makes sense, doesn't it? That's pretty clear. Yesterday, Manny, Buise. Benny, hi Ant and chat. Is this even possible? I thought we didn't have the resources to trade for those picks. Well, it sounds like Toomey's making it's funny because we're saying there's no value in some of the, future draft picks in years to come, and then Toomey's saying on the other hand that clubs aren't willing to give up a future first for pick 9 or 11. That's probably suggesting how disinterested clubs are in players within this draft crop. As far as do we have the draft capital to do so, we do. As you can see here, Benny, we have access to 2 years in advance. So I'll bring that up. Look at that. We still have, 2 future firsts, 2 future seconds, a future third, and 3 future fourths. So there's definitely wriggle room to do what we need to do. MD, welcome. How we doing? So it's interesting. It sounds like for some reason, Toomey doesn't believe clubs are going to give up a first rounder for a future first rounder for this draft. Yeah, it shows how bad this draft is on paper, doesn't it? Interesting. There's there's literally barely interest that in clubs wanting Carlton's future current pick 9/11. So they're just gonna have to roll with it. Like I said, they're gonna have problems. What happens if it goes, just out of curiosity for Carlton, if they do get bid on, if Harry Dean gets bid on at pick 3 by West Coast, what happens? So their pick, the value is, the net required is 1960. They pay with pick 10 and 12, and that pushes them to pick 30 while also getting Harry Dean. So there's obviously a difference between that and pick 20 if he gets selected at pick 20 at pick 7 versus 3. I think it's all smoke and mirrors, and the club wouldn't tell Cal. I mean, Cal's got a fair idea of what's going on. I think he's pretty reliable in this space. Just got home from a week camping trip. Very good, mate. It's the off season, isn't it? It's the off season. So it's that time of the year where you're just chilling. Would only give a future first, nothing else for the deal if it was me. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Super, yeah. It's going to be an enticing watch. See what clubs do. Do they get dirty with the matching bids early? That's the question. What do you reckon we do now for defensive depth with Blight playing in the waffle next season? Well, it seems like we're just going to roll with the punches, Team Mello. It's a good question. Like I always say, we are the most defensive, stubborn side in the league this year. Reef, you have to remember, Reef is almost as if he's a new recruit. Now, I understand that we haven't, or Reef isn't proven just yet as a key defender, but there is some feeling that he's this new reincarnation of a player who hasn't played in 12 months by the time he returns. So there's your defensive depth. In the VFL, you got like Joel Cochran is going to be something. I'm telling you guys, I have some high hopes for him right as of right now. I have high hopes for Joel Cochran. I don't know about Ilaru. DC still does a lot of work around the grounds. Maybe Oscar Steen can do that in some ways also. Billy Frampton needs to have a year. Darcy Moore needs to improve on his year, I would say. And like a big preface to this all is if Collingwood are playing well cohesively, we look much better defensively, don't we? Stevie Wonder has more of a chance hitting a dartboard than Kaltumi getting a top right. Oh, his draft boards are generally pretty accurate, no? Going again for the COD opener on December 1st. Where's that, MD? Any chance of getting pick 11 or 9 Carlton this year in a draft? It sounds like we're not overly keen on pick 9 and 11. But then there's reports that Collingwood have asked the question. So I'm not too sure. Cal gets 70 of where players going to draft his best and it helps that he gets the information from insiders and scouts and list managers. So there's that. Like that does give you a bit of a cheat code into who's going where and what sort of range, what clubs are looking for. So it's his bread and butter. Like this is the one thing that he needs to get right, and he releases it the day before the draft. So yeah. What do you think of wildcard next round? All right, well let's Mighty Vic's 4 in a row. Huge. Let's go. Let's do a draft. A poll. Wildcard round. Do you like the wildcard round idea? Question mark. Yes or no? What are my thoughts on wildcard round? I think first and foremost, at the end of the day, if it means it's going to make the league more money, then it's going to happen regardless of whether we like it or not. That is the economy. That is the world we live in. So that's the first thing that I will say. I genuinely like the wild card round more than other people will. For the consumer, being the viewer, it's great, I feel. For the clubs, for the players, or for the players more so, probably not, because the season is already as tough as it can possibly be, and to add an extra layer for the teams between 7th and 10th to compete for the round for the final spots, I can see the difficulty in that and the disgust towards it. But as a consumer, I like it more than others. I'm not completely opposed to it. It fulfills the void in the bye week, and I'm not saying that you should have a wild card round simply just to fill in that gap, to be a gap filler. I think I like the idea of making it more difficult for teams between, well, it will be the 7th and 8th place team. Make it difficult for them. Make it even more important to finish in the top 6. It keeps other clubs and fans interested. I felt, if I look back at this season, I go, damn, for the most part of that second half of the season, it was a bit of a bore fest watching other teams because the bottom 8 were out of touch. I know that doesn't happen every season, but at the end of the day, it's going to make the AFL more money. It's gonna bring us more exciting games in the back end of the season. It is what it is, and traditionalists will not like it, and that's the way it is, and that's okay. 70%. Oh, yeah, 70% of them right. Yep. I think wildcard is good. It evens out the draw. So not more money at the expense of integrity. Sport must make money while remaining competitive. I think it makes it even more difficult for those teams in 7th and 8th. I don't think it makes it easier, does it, Voidoid? Like some saying, Suns shouldn't have made the 8 this year as they got an easier draw compared to someone like Sydney. I mean, that's interesting. So you're suggesting if a team finishes 7th and 8th because they had an easier draw, they should play through the play-ins, the wild card round, and prove they're worthy. This, to write off the doubters and the naysayers who said, "Hey, you finished 7th or 8th because you got an easier fixture. Is that what you're saying? I wouldn't mind the wild card if it was our home and away. If it was our home game, we take the cash, but we're usually the away side and get nothing plus the umpire screw us over. The 11th and 12th suddenly need their own wild card round. I don't think it will get to that far. I don't think we'll get that far. Wild card awards mediocrity. I just think it makes it harder, Stewie. It makes it harder for the teams that are 7th and 8th and 9th and 10th if you want to throw them in. Like, winning 5 games versus potentially 4 games and not having the bye round for teams 7, 8, 9th and 10th, I think it makes it harder for them. Benny says, I also feel AFL are trying to one-up the NRL with this one. So I know the VFL have the wildcard round. I know the NBA have the play-ins, which is the same as a wildcard round. What do the NRL have? Theoretically, if a team can't finish lower than 10th, then they'll rest players and not bother winning. Yeah, it maintains more competition for a longer period of time throughout the season, in the back end of the season. You're not going to see teams rest and give up and look forward to the next year. Frankie, thanks to the $7.99. Fuck off, Bethany. Fuck off, Daniel. That's good. Stewie, that's what you mean. What do you mean? That's what you mean. Your comment makes it sounds like wild card awards mediocrity. I'm saying you're basically making it sound like it's rewarding teams that are 9th and 10th to potentially play finals. I'm saying more of the point of it is it makes it more difficult for teams 7, 8, 9, and 10 to go on a premiership run. That's my point. It makes it harder. It maintains integrity in selection integrity in the back half of the year. When teams are 11th and 12th and they're on the precipice of playing into the wildcard round, they will not rest players, whereas typically they probably would if there wasn't a wildcard round. Is anyone else getting distortions in the audio? In what way? What distortions are you hearing? MD, let me check. Let me check my side of things. It's cutting in and out. Well, that's annoying. Has it been doing it the whole stream? Let me see. Cuts out. How long has it been going on for? Has it been doing it the whole stream? Like, if there's a player that Collingwood are really... The last few minutes, you say, huh? Let me know if it happens again. 5 minutes, you reckon? I think ever since Chris has come into the chat, he's fucked me. He's fucked me stream. That's what's happened. He's put some fucking juju on this stream. That's what he's done. Prick. Dog! Seriously. Don't we love in-stream problems, huh? Fuck off. Seriously, how do you fuck that up? Alright, let me know. We'll keep it rolling and we'll see how we go. Is there anything here that I need to make sure? If you're not good enough to make the finals, you don't deserve to be there. I don't like the wild card round. I think it's just such a reductionist way to look at it. You will like wild card round if Pies finish 9th or 10th and hate it if we finish 7th or 8th. That's true. If we traded 9 from Carlton for future 1, think they would get Butters in 2026 easily with all those first round picks they would have. Still happening. What do you mean? It feels too gimmicky. Guys, I don't know what to do. I'm like live in a stream. I don't know what is it unbearable? Still happening. What do you mean? It feels too gimmicky. Guys, I don't know far. I don't think we'll get that far. Wildcard awards mediocrity. I'm not seeing it cutting out. It makes it harder, Stewie. It makes it harder for the teams that are 7th and 8th and 9th and 10th if you want to throw them in. So, like, theoretically, you're not going to see mediocrity. I'm saying, in what way? I'm looking at the stream on YouTube and it looks fine. Lily, can you check my stream? Please? Not sure what's going on here, ladies and gents. I'm sorry. It's like watching an old Kung Fu movie. 20 teams soon for 8 spots when it used to be 16 teams. I see that. Audio fine on your end? Yeah, I don't know. Chris, you're franking me, man. Franking me. If only they brought it in 2024 when it finished 9th, we would have won a flag, Mello. We would have gone and won a flag. If you could give this season a title, the season that we had, what would the title of the movie be? I think Matthew would have it listed as 14 wins. That would be the headline of the movie. That would be the name of the movie for Collingwood season in 2025. Talking marks, speech marks, 14 wins. Yes or no? Yes or no? With 20 teams, make it a top 10 instead. Fuck the wild card idea. So maybe they're preparing for when there are 20 teams. It's a wild card. I don't mind it. Do you think the AFL will ever bring in a mid-season trade? I think they will, Chris. Chris Talbot. You'd say flying high until we weren't? You reckon? How is it?
It looks fine.
Looks fine?
Yeah, it's just it's like 25 seconds delayed.
25 seconds delayed. Yeah, but that's not like the stream itself.
It was jumpy. I went back.
Yeah.
It was jumpy, but now it's fine.
When was it jumpy?
A couple minutes before you said that.
Cool. Huh? Jared Wade fucked us over would be the movie title. Yeah, I don't know. So who did we get in Gather Round, by the way? Let's go to the Collingwood website for a moment. Let's go here. Bang. Let's go here. Allow. Pies to face interstate rival in Gather Round. Collingwood's 2026 Gather Round fixture has been confirmed with the Pies set to clash with Fremantle. The Pies and Dockers will take centre stage on Friday the 10th of April at the Adelaide Oval, with the first bout set to take place at 7:40 p.m. Are we happy with that? Do we like that fixture on the Friday? I think it's probably... The stream has a weird, fuzzy-looking bloke hosting. I wonder who it is, Benny, huh? How about opening round with 5 games? How about another idea? 3 more games and call it a round 1. Yeah, I do see like where that can create some annoyance for some fans. Like it's basically a round, and teams, 3 sets of 2 teams will miss out, which can be a little bit unfair, seen as unfair, a disadvantage in some ways. I think tomorrow we get the fixture release, so maybe we do a live stream tomorrow night as well, and go through predicting the fixture for the Pies, perhaps. Like predicting the outcomes, like doing a swiggle or something, just a bit of fun. And we can look at how many days breaks we get in between certain games, certain rounds. And yeah, then we'll know more about how much opening round will have an impact on us, how much gather round will have an impact on us, all those sorts of things. Also, it means how hard of a draw you get won't screw you for making the top 8. We always get the hardest draw possible, so would benefit us in the wild card. It screws up the fixture, adds more buys. Man, AFL love to be convoluted. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing at times, isn't it? And regarding the fixture that we were talking about, do you like the wild card round idea? 58% say no, 42% say yes. Okay, fairs? Fair. From chocolates to boiled lollies would be the title. Damn, Stewie. Damn. Any questions, guys? Any questions? Keep them coming. We'll probably go for a few more minutes and then just have a relatively short one tonight. 10 things you hate about Jared Wade. Come on, Stewie. We'll have an early one tonight. I reckon. Normally we go for what, 50 to an hour. We did what, an hour and 20 yesterday. An hour 20, hour 30 with Pommy yesterday. So be sure to watch that as we talk about potential draft selections. As a fan, you have to ask: Do you want more weeks of the year to have football on without increasing the number of matches? That's what opening round does. Okay, that's a deep way to think about it. As a fan, you have to ask: Do you want more weeks of the year to have football on without increasing the number of matches? That's what opening round does. I don't mind it. How ended your shirt, mate? It's the Man City top, my friend. It's the Man City top. So close, but yet so far. Fair. Who's the next draft prospect on? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do. I might do tomorrow. I'll do some research. I got some names in mind. With some later picks that we have. Is Teresa muting you for not talking up Harvey Harris? She's not in it. She's not in here right now. She was here yesterday. Yep. She's a funny one, isn't she? She loves Harvey Harrison and Reeve. Who do you think Collingwood could get next year in a trade period? Butters, Bailey, or King? It depends on like whether the clubs would match Collingwood's bid as well. But if we maintain our future first next year, which is why I imagine clubs aren't overly keen on giving away their future first for next year, so they can get into the trade sphere and get free agents. I think that's why Carlton are struggling to get to offload pick 9 and 11 in this draft right now. Wade out, still in for the high performance role next season. Imagine that. Harrison for PM. Dyson Sharp on our radar. Yes, he is. Yes. That's if we get Carlton's first round, one of Carlton's first round picks, and that's if Dyson Sharp is still on the table. So there's a bit to be seen. There's a bit to be seen, you know. That's a wait and see for draft night. Anyhow, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. I appreciate you all for joining us off season. This is where all the diehards can be found. I appreciate you all, and we'll probably see you tomorrow if there is a draft or a AFL fixture release. We'll do some sort of live stream. So we'll find out tomorrow. But until then, guys, I appreciate you all. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, go Pies.